All right, back on the 6.1 for the ultimate VE build. So for you guys that have been following along, or haven't been following along maybe, we're doing a VE 6.1, which if you guys know what you're looking at, this is a common rail block. It's a 6.7 block, sleeved down to a 5.9 with a, a VE timing case, factory VE timing case, drilled and tapped and all that jazz. So so the head gasket that I ordered for it, wasn't thinking, I ordered a firing gasket for a 6.7, which isn't gonna, well, you could make it work, but I figured it was easier not to. So what I did was I took a 12 valve head gasket and I cut the fire rings, the factory fire rings out of it. I don't know if I'll show doing that. It's a real pain. I'll be honest with you. If you need one, just buy one. But I have a bunch of these rings that I got a long time ago. So I have some extra rings. So I figured, I got lots of head gaskets. I'll just bust out a head gasket. It took me, I don't know, an hour and a half or something like that. But honestly, really not worth the time for the most part, especially if you have to buy the rings too. So I just thought I would mention that. You can actually do it yourself. Basically, what you do is you have to take a die grinder with a good bit in it and you carve them out. It's one of those things. It's not that bad to do, but it is not the most fun thing. And if you already have to buy these, just buy the head gasket. It's just that I had these and I wanted to be cheap apparently. Well, I wasn't even cheap. I already bought one. It's just that I don't have the right one. So we got that. The block already has grooves in it. So we have to groove the cylinder head. Now I already went ahead and surfaced the cylinder head. So we have the cylinder head on the seat and guide machine just sitting here. We already surfaced the head. I drilled and tapped this. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I videoed part of that talking about it, but I just can't remember. Anyways, I drilled and tapped it so we can put this intake that a buddy of mine built a long time ago, and I'm going to use it just because it will fit with the factory lines and I don't have to screw around with that. So we're going to use that for an intake, at least for now, on this head. And I got to cut the fire rings. So we're going to cut the fire rings into the head, and then the valve job has already been done on the head, so I don't have to worry about that. It's already got good guides in it. So at this point, as soon as I get the fire rings in there, we'll check some heights, make sure the heights are all good. And I'm going to cut down for hat style seals because it hasn't been done. I was just checking that. Hasn't been done, so we'll do that. And yeah, so I guess I'm going to do the fire ring thing. I got to figure out what my heights need to be or my depths need to be, because I did surface a little on that block. So what I'm going to do is what I surfaced off of the block, I'm just going to compensate for that in the head, and then I'll have to screw around with the block again. I think we only took like 2 thou off the block. It was probably like nice and flat still. I just wanted to make sure it was perfect. And yeah, so that's what we're doing right now. So I'm going to flip this thing down, get the plate bolted on it for doing the fire rings, and we are going to fire ring things. So all right, I'll get into it, and I'll probably bring you guys along for part of the journey anyway. So let's get doing this. All right, so I got a couple of them. I got the depth set. You can see that I've cut the grooves in there. So I kind of cheat. So this is a hand tool, obviously. And what I do is I drive it with the seat and guide machine, or sometimes I do it with the mill too. I just got some junk on the mill, so I figured to do it on the seat and guide machine. It's actually easier to hold it down on the seat and guide machine. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut. I'm gonna show you how I do it on the seat and guide machine. Like I said, it is actually a hand tool, but I found that it works quite well doing it this way. But you have to be able to spin it relatively slow. I run it at like 35 to 40 RPM. And you can't, what I do is, this is just an adapter piece here. So you can't push really hard. It's basically just, instead of having to do it by hand, because I'm lazy, I do it with the seat guide machine. But you can do them by hand. It's just that why do it by hand when I don't have to? So I'm going to bang out the rest of these things, and then we're probably going to check some valve recessions, see what we got for that, see whether or not I actually have to do another valve job on it. I'm hoping not, because the valve job was just done by somebody, but I'm hoping that it'll be all good, and then we don't have to. We can just start putting everything together. So I'm going to show you guys how I do this on the seat and guide machine, and we will yeah, get after doing here. All right, we'll just measure some of these recessions. All right, we're gonna have to get into, we're gonna have to do a valve job because they're not, the valve job looks okay, but the depth is wonky. Well, it's not really that bad. You're only talking like a variance like 45, 35. That one definitely would need to be cut. Same with this 40, and then there's a 50 here, which I'm not concerned on the 50 side of things, but I would rather them all be within a couple thou of each other. Like the difference between 35 and 50, I don't like that. But I think what we're gonna do is, because we got a 50 here and a 50 there, we'll probably chop the intakes down to 50, and then we're going to do the exhaust probably down to pretty close to that same realm too. I'll probably touch all of them up, but we'll see. I don't know, like these seats don't look bad and they ring okay. So we're gonna have to do a little adjustamente. So I guess I'm gonna have to set up the tools to cut the valve job on this. But I was hoping I didn't have to do that, but I guess it's one of those things. I didn't do the valve job, so it is what it is. If you're doing like a, well, even if I was doing just a regular valve job, I would make it closer than that, but, or I try anyway. I definitely wouldn't be 35 and 50. But, all right, well, I guess I got to cut a valve. I got to do the valve job. Like I said, I wasn't planning on doing the valve job, but it is what it is. So, all right, well, let's cut a valve job, or let's cut the valve job on this. Probably do that tonight. Yeah, it's only 6 o'clock. So, probably cut the valve job on it. Maybe do where the valves, or where the springs sit for the top hats as well. Because then I could wash this head tomorrow and we can assemble it tomorrow, because I'm kind of getting to the point now where I'm getting itchy to put the thing together. For you guys that have been following, you've seen the first gen is making some steam now, but we're shooting for more power than that thing is making right now with this engine. So it's going to take some doing to, you know, with tuning and all that type of stuff. I'm gonna have to build a compound setup for it at a certain point here, but we're gonna play around with some. I think I'm gonna try. We're gonna see. Being I have a manifold and a turbocharger, I think what we're gonna try is we're actually gonna try a single S400 on it, just to see. I have it all, and all I gotta do is make a downpipe. So actually, I don't even know if I have to make a downpipe. Anyways, doesn't matter. I guess we're gonna cut valve job. So let's cut valve job. All right, so I got the cutter all set up here. We're just gonna quickly, so I already did the intakes. I'm doing the exhaust now. Third one in, doing 60 thou recession. I wanted to bring the recession down because it does have a bit of a camshaft in it. So, well, I shouldn't say a bit of a camshaft. It's got a camshaft in it. Whether or not there's going to be any benefit to that for us, I don't know. Worst case scenario, we'll swap it out, try something different. But we are going to move. Oh no, sorry. I guess I got 4 of them done. We're going to go to the next one and see. We'll just cut her down here. Side, I don't know. Valve job's done now. I'm going to flip the head over though and cut the C pockets down for top hat seals because might as well have valve seals. Lots of guys actually, years ago, lots of guys on these things never ran valve seals. Performance anyway. Cutter. Whoop. This is a cutter for doing it. You can apparently buy, I've never personally had a set, but you can buy these top hat seals that actually will go over top of the boss that's there. I've never had a set, and I like SBI seals myself, and the SBI seals don't go over top of them. So we need to machiny. And I pretty much do it to everything. Even if a guy had those, if I'm rebuilding the head, I'll still do this because if somebody ever goes to change the seals and they don't have that style of seal, then that kind of poses a problem for the guy, right? So, if you're wondering, I'm just leveling the cylinder head here so that we cut equally everywhere. So you can see what I was just doing there for you guys that have never seen it. Like I said, there's the cutter, and we're just cutting this boss off so that the seal goes on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reposition the head, and I'll cut those other two, the end two. So I put these in a different spot than I usually do. I honestly wasn't planning going as far as I did with this. I wasn't planning on doing a valve job. Well, I wasn't even thinking I was going to have to do a valve job, but is what it is at the point where we are. So I'm going to get those cut. We're going to wash it, and then the next time that you guys see it, which may be in this video, I'm going to be putting the valve springs and checking some heights and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully you guys. All right, so we're going to put the cylinder head together. Now I've already checked a bunch of this stuff, obviously. A tiny bit of dust on there. I've already checked the guide clearance. We're like 1 7/10, 1 8/10, which is roughly where I would like to see it, because these things are hard on guides in general. The 12 valves are hard on guides, especially with big springs and all that type of stuff. So I'm gonna go grab the valves. I got them on the shelf. I just realized I didn't bring them over yet. The valve springs that we're using on them is because I already have them, is a Hamilton Beehive style spring. And they're 185s, which should be enough valve spring for what we're doing here, I believe. If not, I do have bigger valve springs, but they're hard on camshafts. And this engine I would like to drive around a bit, I'm hoping it's, well, see how the streetable side of things is with it. Evan from Ratman Performance, the guy that built the pump, he said they're quite streetable. And then Gavin, who also, he said his is quite streetable as well. So I figured, well, if that's the case, we might as well build it so we can drive it around. Because I do like to drive them. That's the thing, is I you know, even if you you take the first gen with the engine in it now, I do enjoy driving the truck. It is a little on the smoky side with that big turbocharger, but we'll probably remedy that. This is going to have compounds on it, and I would imagine that likely that will have compounds on it at a certain point. That engine, I should say, not that the truck. If this engine works as well as I'm hoping it will, I think this engine is probably going to primarily stay in the first gen. And then we'll find a different project for the P-Pump 6.7 that's in there right now, providing we can get it to the horsepower I want. If not, we'll get this one to the horsepower I want, and then we'll put that one back in and monkey with it maybe next winter. So, all right, I'm going to grab the valves so we can put the valves in, lube up, put the valves in, put springs on, all that stuff, and maybe set the cylinder head on. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, let's lube these things up and put the springs, the seals and the springs on. So I guess question that some people are probably going to have is, when should we do a 625 versus a 425? Now, as we make more high performance stuff and raising compression to make them run nicer and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to lean towards, 625s. Oh, I got to grab one more. Myself personally, I'm pretty much to the point now, I think, where anytime that I'm doing anything, as long as they're available, I'm going to do a 625 or a higher grade stud, whether it be ARP or a different brand, nonetheless. I'm going to just start going to the better ones. Yes, they are considerably more expensive. They're, more than double the price. But do you want to change a head gasket? Now, if you're fire ringing, 100% should have head studs in it, or should have 625s or high tensile head studs in it. 100%. So, yeah. Hopefully that clears up a little bit for you guys that are actually watching. For you guys that wonder, I back them off a good half a turn, And the reason for that is that I don't want that bolt to bottom out in the hole, because it's super hard on the stud when it does. So, like I said, I go half a turn plus a little, not quite 3/4 of a turn, but that being said, if your stud has a little tit on the end of it, you can bottom those ones out. But these ones, I don't bottom out. Completely up to you if you want to. This is how I've done it, and I've never had a problem with one. So, if you learned something, check out this video.